I reviewed about 50 portfolios last month for the roles at Swiggy. You know how many I actually remembered after closing the tabs? Barely 3. And it wasn't only because those 3 designers had better work, of course they did, it's also because their portfolios made me feel their process. I could see how they think. I understood their design decisions. I knew they could ship real projects and not just concept. And most importantly, I also got a good idea about how they might be as humans. The truth is, your portfolio website isn't just competing with other portfolio websites. It is competing with every other tab the recruiter has open on their browser. Yes, it's that time of the year again. Design colleges and schools are gearing up for placements, young professionals are lining up for their next career move, and companies with their HR teams are aggressively hiring across the board. That's basically how the first quarter every year looks like. Even in my own experience, most of the inbound opportunities that I receive from companies tend to be in Q1. So yes, it feels like hiring season. It's not just in your head, it's the calendar doing its thing. So today I'm going to show you exactly how to structure a portfolio site that doesn't get closed. We'll talk about what actually needs to be in there, then I will build one within real time so that you can see how this comes in together. Let's get into it. Before we touch Framer, let me be clear about what belongs in your portfolio today. This isn't 2018 anymore. In 2026, recruiters are spending just 6 seconds on your portfolio deciding if they will continue or close the tab. They're not digging through your work to figure out if you're good. If it is not obvious immediately, you are out. Honestly, portfolios in 2026 feels like what resumes used to be in 2018, something that recruiters glance for just a few seconds before deciding your fate. So portfolio needs to work that fast. So think of your portfolio like a story with 3 clear points. Point number 1, the hook page. This is not your about page section. This is not, hi, I'm a designer passionate about creating meaningful experiences and so on. Your hook page should hit them with your strongest work immediately. One project, one problem statement, one key result, and if possible, a live prototype that they can interact with. Recruiters don't care about your journey yet. They need to know if you can solve problems. The most important thing about you from a hiring perspective. Give them proof upfront, and they will stay long enough to explore the rest. Once you establish that confidence, everything else just starts clicking. They become curious to know about how you think as a designer, how you collaborate, how you show up as a human, your hobbies, interests, and all of it. Until then, the fancy interactions, the clever animations, the bells and whistles on your websites are basically just background music. They only start working after you have clearly demonstrated one thing, that you can solve real problems. Point number 2, case study deep dives. Prioritize quality over quantity always. Pick only 2 to 3 projects instead of 10 or 15. And for each one, make sure that you're answering 3 questions clearly. What was the problem? How did you solve it? What happened after you shipped it? And if your project is a personal project, a pet project that hasn't shipped to anybody, just add some anecdotes around how people reacted when you showed it around to people. Make a prototype, show it around to a few friends and target audience, and get their reactions and capture it. Yes, it doesn't match up to the real data, what happened after you release it, but it is still acceptable, especially if you're a college student. Show how you use AI tools to speed up research, generate mood boards, or bounce off ideas. Think of your portfolio like showing the recipe and not just plating the final dish. The recipe proves you know what you're doing. It shows whether you actually understand the why behind your decisions, or are you just repeating a process you have seen elsewhere. When I review portfolios, I often see this pattern. The visuals look polished, but the moment I open the case study, it becomes obvious where the understanding drops off. You can tell which parts are vague because the designers didn't fully grasp the problem, or they have stitched together jargon just to make it sound legit. And that's exactly why case studies matter. They reveal how well someone understands the problem statement and how clearly they explain their thinking when they genuinely know what's going on. Here's a pro tip. Always assume the recruiter and the design team reviewing you are smarter than you. Even if they aren't, carry that mindset. It stops you from adding anything that you can't defend, and it keeps your portfolio honest, crisp, and impossible to poke holes into. Also, interactivity is very important these days. Static screenshots don't work anymore. Embed your Figma prototypes and show the flow. Make it feel like the work is alive and not archived. Point number 3, the proof section. This is where you close the deal. Testimonials, metrics, results. Reduce checkout abandonment by 34% will always beat a generic improved user experience. Numbers are proof. Adjectives are just adjectives. If you've got projects that are live and are being used by real people, show that here. This section answers the question, can this person actually ship work that matters? Now here's a few subtle details that separate amateur portfolio websites from your professional ones. Number one, mobile performance. 60% of the recruiters view portfolios on their phones. If your site lags or breaks on mobile, you are done. Number two, smooth interactions. Custom cursors, page transitions, scroll-triggered animations are good and fancy, but if they come at the expense of user experience of browsing your website, then you have completely lost the plot. Yes, these details matter, but only when used meaningfully. I've seen many portfolio websites that are fancy animations. When you scroll, elements appear from here and there. Yes, they are delightful and fun to use. But if this scroll animation is causing the website to lag and it is stopping me from browsing your portfolio and your case studies effectively, then there is no point at all. I immediately reject those portfolios right away. And that brings me to number three, speed. Nobody is waiting for your portfolio to load. Optimize everything, please. Number four, little touches. Reading time estimates on case studies, live project counters, dark mode toggle. These aren't required, but they show that you care. You see, your recruiters are not just going to judge you based on your case studies. Of course, they will do, but it's also these little details that add up to the judgment that they make on you. And don't forget that case studies are meant to be judged. Everyone is judging you based on what you put out there, every detail you put out there. The goal here isn't to show every project you've ever done. The goal is to prove you solve hard problems and deliver results. Alright, now that we know what actually goes into a portfolio website, let's actually build it. For this, we are using Framer because it's the fastest no-code tool that lets you own your portfolio without begging developers to update it for you. You can make changes in minutes instead of waiting for weeks. Here's the structure of the portfolio website that we are building: a homepage with your positioning statement and around 3 case studies previews right under it. After that, there will be a small section for About Me with a button for contact if needed. That's about the homepage, and after this, we will also build a case study page, essentially the details page. When you click on the previews, the page that opens up where you can read the entire case study, that's a page we're talking about. This page will start with the name of the case study, maybe an image, followed by some sort of a template. Not very rigid, but we'll get to that. Let's begin. I actually thought of building it from the scratch, but when I was going through the free templates, which is already present on Framer, I found one which does 80 to 90% of what I had in my head. So I'm just going to start with a template. It's called Nitro by EasyFast. I think it's a great combination of functionality and aesthetics. It's fancy, but it doesn't compromise any of the fundamentals. Now, for the hero text, don't write something generic like I'm a passionate designer. Write something that positions you. Maybe, I design systems that ship. I vibe coded an app that is used by 200k users worldwide. Or been in the innovation team of 3+ Fortune 500 companies. Self-taught product designer with 5 years of consumer experience. And so on. Of course, these are all examples, but this definitely gives you an idea as to what I mean. That's what hiring managers want to see. Clear positioning, something that hits hard. In this template, there's an option to flip and animate the last line of the header to do something else. It's great if you want to position yourself as someone who's into multiple things like, I can design, code, sing, dance, and so on. And of course, these words like design, code, sing, and dance will flip, and it'll animate and keep flipping at regular intervals. Next are the case study preview cards. Now, they have built hover states and scroll animations as well. Now, here you should be careful before you add any unnecessary animation. But this one that I see, the card behavior, it appears one after another as if it is stacking one over the other. It doesn't disrupt the overall browsing behavior, and it doesn't cover any important content. So I think it's a great trade-off. As you've seen, I've already filled in my content, and now let's build the case study details. This will be a reusable layout, and Framer has CMS built in it, which means every time you add a new case study, you don't have to fiddle around with the website design and the layout. CMS or content management system is nothing but it simply means it'll open up a form like a Google Doc where you can type in or paste your case study, insert your images, do all the editing and formatting, and just save. And the moment you save the case study, it automatically starts reflecting in your website. No rebuilding of pages required from the scratch. But every case study, when you type in or paste, make sure you have a small paragraph which sets the context, because people reading your case study wouldn't know the premise behind your work. Why are you designing this? or what exactly is the problem that is present today, and so on. The next section is the problem statement. Well, the previous context section also has a bit of the problem statement mentioned, but this is the part where you summarize the 2 or 3 problems that you specifically want to solve as a part of your case study. Next is your process, or in other words, the story of how this whole thing was designed. This is the main body of your case study. This is going to be the longest section of your case study. Next is the solution, which is the flow or the screens which you're proposing as a solution to the problem statement you had began the case study with. And finally, the conclusion section, which connects all the dots and explains how your solution is solving the problem that you had started with, and also what could be the probable next steps. Another important thing to keep in mind while you're writing case study is do not shy away from mentioning of any AI that you've used in the entire design process. It could be for brainstorming, doing some secondary research, generating some images, wireframes, writing copies, framing sentences. As long as you're using AI as an assistant and then using your own brain to modify and then work on top of it before the final output, you are sorted. In fact, companies will appreciate because everybody expects their employees to use AI. Don't just say you use AI, show it. The advantage of Framer is that you can update this portfolio in 10 minutes versus waiting on a developer. And deployment is instant. Hit publish, connect your custom domain, and you're live. That's the blueprint. If you notice, we didn't just make a website. We took real design work, structured it into clear case studies, and then used Framer to present it in a way that feels modern, fast, and true to how the work actually lives. Here's what you should do next. Your portfolio in 2026 is a proof of thinking and not just decoration. Sign up from link given in the description for an extra discount and start building your portfolio using Framer. If you're a beginner and want to know what mistakes you should avoid in your design career, check out this video next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.